Hey everyone, I'm Aarav. Thanks for tuning in. Today, we're diving into a really exciting topic. How do massive companies like Google, Tesla, and Facebook stay innovative even when they're already global giants? You'd think being so big would slow them down, right? I mean, how can a company with 100,000 employees, thousands of procedures, and a global brand possibly be agile or experimental? In many cases, it actually does slow them down, but the most successful companies have figured out something special: how to keep acting like startups even when they have massive scale. Let's break down exactly how they do it and what lessons we can learn from them. First, let's talk about why innovation is hard when you're running a huge organization. There are two main reasons. Number one, organizational inertia. This is when a company becomes resistant to change not because it doesn't want to evolve, but because the systems in place are designed to maintain stability. Think about it this way: they have formal processes, tons of middle management, and shareholder expectations, along with huge customer bases. All of this together can make risk feel dangerous. If a company like Google experiments with a new product and it fails, the media headlines will be absolutely brutal. The stock price could drop, investor confidence might shake up. So, large companies build up defenses like approvals, committees, and legal checks that make it hard to launch something wild. Number two, loss of flexibility. Startups are fast, they are small teams, they pivot quickly, and they can afford to make mistakes. In fact, mistakes are often how they learn. Big companies, on the other hand, move like ocean liners. A decision that takes a week at a startup might take months at a large firm. Why? Because every department from marketing to compliance to finance has to weigh in. Imagine it like this: startups are speedboats, they can change direction instantly. Big firms are container ships, powerful but slow to turn. So the question becomes, how do you keep the speedboat mindset inside a container ship? So, despite these challenges, large companies have figured out some brilliant ways to stay creative. Here are two of the biggest strategies they use. Number one, Intrapreneurship, also known as corporate entrepreneurship. This is when big companies create space for employees to act like entrepreneurs within the organization. They might give them freedom to form small teams, explore new product ideas, or solve problems using startup like methods. Example, at 3M, employees could dedicate 15% of their time to passion projects. One of those side projects, the Post-it note. It became one of their most iconic products. Google took it even further with their famous 20% time policy. That's how Gmail, Google News, and AdSense came to life. The idea is, even in a giant company, you can make space for creative energy if you give people ownership and autonomy. Number two, organizational ambidexterity. Okay, it sounds like a biology term. I get it, but hear me out. Ambidexterity here means being good at two opposing things. Number one, exploitation. Refining and optimizing your current business, like Apple releasing the iPhone 13, 14, and 15. Exploration. Trying bold new ideas that may or may not work, like Apple developing Apple Vision Pros or investing in wearables and health tech. Companies that master this balance, like Amazon, Alphabet, and Apple, can grow steadily and explore the next big thing at the same time. Even with all these strategies, innovation at scale is hard. Let's look at two big traps that companies often fall into. Number one, the exploitation trap. This is when companies spend all their energy making existing products better while ignoring what's coming next. Example, Nokia. They dominated the mobile phone market, but while they were improving buttons and battery life, Apple was building the iPhone. The rest is history. So why does this happen? It happens because the existing product makes money. It's safe. Executives feel pressure to stick with what works, but eventually that leaves them behind. Number two, disruptive innovation from Clayton Christensen. This is one of the most powerful ideas in business. It starts when a small company enters the market with a cheaper, simpler version of a product. Big companies ignore it because it's not good enough. But over time, the little guy improves. Then boom, the disruptor takes over the market. Classic case, mini steel mills in the 1970s. They made low quality steel. Big firms laughed and made fun of them. But over time, they improved their process. Eventually, they crushed the giants who ignored them. Disruptive innovation teaches us that today's leaders can become tomorrow's followers. if they're not paying attention. Alright, so how do these giants actually innovate? Here are 4 proven strategies. Number 1, internal development. This is when companies invest in their own people, research, and labs to create the next big thing. Google, projects like Gmail, Google Earth, and Chrome came from within. Microsoft, their research team works on quantum computing, AI, and augmented reality. Pros, you own the invention completely. You can integrate it deeply with your existing ecosystem. And cons, it's slow, risk averse managers can kill bold ideas. So, strategic partnerships. Why build it yourself when you can team up, right? So, for some examples, Tesla and Airbnb. They work together to install EV chargers at Airbnb homes. And Apple and Goldman Sachs. Goldman Sachs created the Apple Card, blending tech with finance. Partnerships bring speed, shared risk, access to new customers, and skills. But they also require trust and careful alignment. Number 3, corporate venture capital, CVC. CVC is when big companies invest in startups, not to control them, but to learn and grow. Google Ventures has backed startups like Uber, Nest, and Slack. Intel Capital has funded over 1,500 companies globally. So why CVC? Big companies get early access to new ideas, keep a pulse on where the industry is heading, build relationships with future partners or acquisitions. It's like putting sensors out in the startup world, so you don't miss what's next. And lastly, acquisitions. Sometimes companies skip the R&D and D and just buy the innovation. Facebook bought Instagram and later WhatsApp. Amazon bought Zoox to explore self-driving tech. Google bought Android long before it became the number 1 mobile OS. Acquisitions can bring new technology, top talent, and fresh ways of thinking. But acquisitions can fail too. If cultures don't align or the integration is rushed, value gets lost fast. So, finally, let's zoom out and look at the mindset of these firms. Because it's not just about strategies, it's about culture. Great companies bake innovation into the DNA. Here's how. Number 1, empower employees. Innovation doesn't just happen if people are stuck in rigid job descriptions. The best companies empower their employees by giving them ownership over their ideas and space to work on them. This might mean setting aside dedicated time, like Google's 20% time, or supporting internal hackathons, idea challenges, and cross-functional projects. It's about creating an environment where creativity is not only accepted but encouraged. Employees are treated like entrepreneurs and their voices matter. They're allowed to test ideas and, even better, fail without punishment. Number 2, normalize failure. If innovation is your goal, you have to accept that failure is part of the process. Some ideas won't work, some prototypes will flop, some launches will miss the mark, and that's okay. Companies like Amazon talk openly about their failed products like the Fire Phone, but instead of hiding it, they view it as a stepping stone to success. In fact, Amazon's failures often led directly to bigger breakthroughs like Alexa and Echo. When employees know they won't be penalized for failing fast and learning quickly, they're more likely to experiment. Number 3, celebrate small wins. You don't have to launch the next iPhone to innovate. A simple UX improvement, a new automation tool, or a faster onboarding process, these are wins too. Celebrating progress at every level keeps momentum high. It tells employees that what they do matters. Even if it's not headline worthy, over time, a culture that rewards small frequent wins adds up to major transformation. Number 4, stay close to customers. Innovation isn't born in a boardroom. It comes from understanding the real problems people face. That's why customer obsession is key. Companies like Apple, Netflix, and Amazon excel at listening to user feedback and turning it into product innovation. They run beta programs, read every review, and even shadow customers to understand pain points. When teams stay close to their users, they don't just guess what might work, they build what's actually needed. And number 5, think long term. One of the biggest mindset shifts innovative companies make, they don't chase short term wins, they play the long game. Example, Amazon invested in AWS for years with little payoff. People question the decision. Today, AWS is one of Amazon's most profitable segments. Jeff Bezos famously said, "Our willingness to be misunderstood for long periods of time allows us to do things that others cannot." This long-term thinking lets companies explore radical ideas without needing immediate returns. It's what separates visionary firms from reactive ones. Innovation isn't just for tiny startups in garages. The most successful large companies know how to keep that startup energy alive through people, process, and vision. They explore the unknown while managing the known. They invest in crazy ideas while strengthening core products. They listen more than they talk, and they never ever assume they're too big to fail. But what can we learn from this? Whether you're in school, building a side project, or just curious, remember this: stay curious, stay flexible, and never stop building. Thanks for watching. If this gave you a new way to think about innovation, hit that like button and subscribe for more. I'm Aarav. See you in the next one.